My wife came home screaming about a card that stopped working. She didn't realize I'd already found out where my money and her loyalty were really going.
The front door slammed hard enough to shake the hallway frame. I didn't flinch. She stood there, breath sharp, eyes burning, phone clenched in her fist like evidence. Her voice cut the air. "Why isn't the card working? Mom just called. She didn't get your paycheck." I looked up slowly. Calm. Measured. "Interesting," I said. That word landed wrong. I could see it in her face. She expected panic, confusion, apologies. Not that. She started pacing. Too fast. Too loud. The kind of movement people make when the ground under them isn't solid anymore. "You promised," she snapped. "Rent, groceries, my mom's medical bills. What kind of game are you playing?" Inside my chest, something ancient clicked into place. Not anger. Alignment. Because the card wasn't not working. It was paused. Intentionally. I had done it 3 hours earlier, sitting in my car, engine off, watching her location dot hover somewhere it shouldn't have been. Somewhere familiar. Somewhere I'd memorized without meaning to. She kept talking, accusing, demanding. I stopped listening. My mind was already replaying moments I used to ignore. Late nights explained too quickly. New passwords, she said, were for security. Her mother suddenly involved in our finances. Too involved. I used to think generosity explained it. Now I knew better. "You're not even reacting," she said, voice cracking just enough to sound offended instead of afraid. "Do you even care?" I stood up. Not fast. Not slow. "I care," I said. "That's why I froze it." Silence swallowed the room. Her pupils widened. Just a fraction. "Enough." "You what?" she whispered. "I paused the account," I repeated. "Temporary inconvenience." "For who?" she asked. "For whoever's been spending my money like it's inheritance," I said. She laughed. Too sharp, too quick. A defensive sound. "Are you accusing me of something?" "No," I replied. "I'm observing patterns." Her phone buzzed again. She didn't answer it. I noticed her hand shaking now. "That was new?" I walked past her into the kitchen, poured myself a glass of water. My reflection in the dark window looked intact. Focused. I hadn't felt this clear in years. Behind me, her voice softened. That was the dangerous version. "You're being paranoid," she said. "You've been distant lately. Maybe you're projecting." Projecting. I almost smiled. Because projection requires imagination. And I didn't need imagination anymore. I had timestamps, transfers, screenshots saved quietly to a folder she didn't know existed. This wasn't about a card, or her mother, or money. That was just the first domino. And she was still standing too close to the rest. I took a sip of water, turned back to her, and said nothing. Sometimes silence is the first confession. That night, I slept like a witness under protection. Still, alert, eyes closed, mind wide awake. She lay beside me, breathing uneven, phone face down on her chest. I counted the seconds between her breaths. They were off. At 2:14 a.m., she slipped out of bed. Careful, too careful. I didn't move, didn't follow. I already knew where she was going. By morning, the house smelled like normalcy. Coffee, toast, performance. She kissed my cheek like a habit she forgot to feel. "I talked to Mom," she said casually. She was confused. Must have been a bank glitch. I nodded. Glitches leave patterns, so do lies. After she left, I opened my laptop. The folder waited for me. Quiet, organized, patient. Bank statements highlighted in yellow. Recurring transfers, she said, were savings. Same amount, same date. Every month. Different recipient. A name I didn't recognize at first. Then a number matched. Then an address. 5 minutes from our house. I didn't rush. Rushing is emotional. This required precision. I pulled phone records next. Not messages. Those were wiped clean. Call durations don't lie the way words do. 43 minutes. An hour 12. Always during her walks. Always to the same number. I drove there that afternoon. Parked across the street. Sat. Waited. At 6:07 p.m. she arrived. She didn't knock. She let herself in. That was the moment something in me shut down completely. No pain, no disbelief, only confirmation. When she came home later, I had dinner waiting. Her favorite. Routine disarms guilt. She talked too much. I listened too little. After we ate, I placed an envelope on the table between us. She stared at it like it might explode. "What's this?" she asked. "Open it," I said. Her hands trembled as she pulled out the printed statements. The call logs. A photo, time-stamped, of her car outside his place. Color drained from her face. "You followed me?" she whispered. "No," I said calmly. "I observed you." Tears came fast, loud, messy. Excuses stacked on top of apologies like a collapsing structure. It didn't mean anything. It just happened. I was lonely. I waited until she finished. Then I slid one last paper forward. A signed authorization. Account closure. Effective immediately. I rerouted everything, I said. Your access, your leverage, your safety net. She looked up, horror finally honest. "You can't just leave me like this." I stood. "I didn't leave," I said. "I arrived." I packed that night. Took nothing sentimental. At the door, she begged. Promised. Rewrote history. I paused. Looked back once. The card didn't stop working, I said quietly. It stopped funding the lie. Then I walked out. Some people lose love. Some lose money. She lost control. And I never looked back long enough to miss it.